Okay, welcome in everybody. Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming by. Hope everyone is weathering whatever weather you're getting at whatever part of the country that you're in. That includes political weather, law enforcement weather, weather from nature, snow and ice and storms and stuff. Please check in on your neighbors. Make sure that everybody in your family are safe and warm, and if they need anything, make sure you can offer offer aid and support and supplies if you're able to do so without hurting yourself or anybody else. If you don't have anywhere to go, thanks for joining me here. We're going to do some Lego design stuff today. Try to keep chill and cozy and warm. There's a lot of crap going on in the world, in the US especially, and it's going to be hard not to talk about it. But we're going to take a break for a couple hours and just kind of talk about nerdy stuff. So feel free to chat about it. I don't mind. I'll engage if it comes up. But yeah, things are not great right now. So, but I'm hoping everybody has a good morning. If you look outside and you're in Austin, it's nicely snow covered. Or grapple covered, sleet covered. It's crusty snow. This would have been great to wake up on Christmas morning, and I joked with Beth that we should have done this on December 25th. Sorry, I got something stuck in my teeth. And I was like, can we rewind to September 25th and have this day? And she's like, why? I'm like, because there's snow on the ground. Wow, I haven't eaten in like an hour and a half, and I've got stuff just now stuck in my teeth. So, going back to Moya, the ship from Farscape, I found the part that I was looking for. I'm not gonna need any of these anymore. I'm just getting rid of some stuff so the clutter is not around. But I was able to find this piece. The reason I didn't find it before is because it was a designed piece, which means it only shows up if you got the printing thing turned on. There's not like a version that isn't printed. It's technically a dual mold, which is why it shows up like that. So, good morning, Missy. Good morning, Bev. Good morning, Johnny, by the way, too. I know you said you were going to lurk while you went out and shoveled. So, but I think this looks great. We're going to pull up an image of Moya here. We've got a couple to look at, this one specifically. I think this is looking really great. I don't think there's going to be any question about what this ship is when people see it. So I'm really excited for it. I had an idea about these swirly pieces on here, maybe being whips. Like if I could figure out how to lay them across the hulls so they just kind of laid there. These curly Q whips we could put like on the front or something. So that's what I was working on just now. But I was like, I got excited and I was like, I should stop and do this during a live stream. So had a pretty good day yesterday in terms of Lego. Got a lot sorted, got a lot built on the stadium. I got it organized, so it's on its own build table now. I got like 3 tables over here. One's got the Venator and the airplane shuttle combination on it because they're just so big. I don't have anywhere else to put them. Right across the monitors here, there's another building staging area. I'm working on the Mega Spark City. I have to rebuild to make the motor work. And then in between, there's another little table that I've moved the Q2 Stadium to because it's about as wide as I need it to be. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm also probably going to start sourcing out some more Microfighters for Brick Rodeo, and I'll display those again. The only reason I don't like doing Microfighters at events is it takes so long to set up. You have to open every Microfighter's in a Ziploc bag to keep it all together, and you have to open it, and they're very fragile. So when you open them up, and they've been sitting in a box by themselves, all clumped together, so you have to open up and rebuild it, and you have to do that 70 times, right? So it's a lot of work to get them all set up. Hopefully like early Brick Rodeo I can probably do that if I'm not also setting up other things or helping people get stuff organized. I'm probably going to be doing some workshops and stuff. So I don't want to miss out on games and workshops that are going on because I'm sitting there putting microfighters together for a whole day. I may see if Beth wants to help me with some stuff because she'll be there, but we'll see. Yeah, same. Like, I got a lot done yesterday. I'm probably going to get a little more done after the stream today before we're going to go to a friend's house for dinner if we can get there. They're just in our neighborhood, so it's not going to be that big a deal. We can walk there if we wanted to. This was something I did yesterday too. So the I don't know what I have untitled back here. I don't need that. I don't have like all these Moyas opened up. I have like a bunch of different. I don't know which one I've been working on, which one I saved. Sorry, this is confusing me now. I don't think I need that one. And I think I need this one. I was helping a friend yesterday from our lug call up and had, oh, that's another thing I can look into while we're here. They had questions about Studio and just gave me a call. And so over the phone, we set up a Zoom call and we kind of walked through stuff they were doing. And they had a question about instructions. And I thought at one point, Studio did suggesting instructions, but I wasn't able to find that. And I'm wondering if it's because we had already split everything out. So I'm going to test something really quick, if you can all indulge me. The other thing that I worked on yesterday was I ordered some parts for the stadium. I ordered stuff for the shops on the back. The next thing I'm going to be ordering, so I got some of these colored bricks because I didn't have, I got a bag of these, light aqua. I got some of these, and I got a lot of this brown, dark blue, and this color here, dark azure, because I have them in smaller plates, but not big plates, so I needed that. And I ordered some 2x8s to keep working on the seating. The big spend is going to be on these white plates up here. I need 20 of them, and it's probably going to be about $80 worth of parts. So I'm not looking forward to that. But the rest of this I kind of have. I think I need one more green. And these don't need to be green because they're covered. So it may not come down to needing any more of the base plates. But anyway. So there's all these things that I built underneath, all these pillars. And this probably is the best way to do it, but I don't know a better way to do it. To get this raised up, the concourse to the back raised up, right? I can't think of a better way to do it. I don't have enough of those giant, like, monorail frame pylons. And those aren't tall enough anyway. And they kind of offset bricks, so it makes it kind of funky to work with. And I don't have a lot of 1x6s. These are all 1x6 pieces. I did have a lot and I used most of them already. So what I ended up doing is making a bunch of these yesterday. I made 30 of these. So they're just 1x2s or 2x2s with 2x4s stacked 6 wide. So I made 30 of these yesterday watching Atlantis, and they're all fun striped. I made a game of it trying to not repeat the same striping too much. So I should have enough of these now to start building up the pillars and things. So that's exciting. That was holding me back a little bit. The next thing will be to get frames for the roof. But I think I've got all the parts for the shops. The scoreboard I might have to do in real life. Like it's just gonna matter what monitor I can get. So I might try to get a monitor early and then just build around it. I may not be able to do it in studio, so we'll see. But anyway, that's the update for that. Again, sourced some parts for my kid. He wanted a set that I used to have, or that he used to have, that he turned over to me. Because he was done with Lego. And about 2 weeks ago, he's like, I'd really like some of those Lego sets back. And I'm like, it's all in here somewhere, man. Go nuts, go crazy. If you can find it, if not, we'll order the parts. And so he found most of them, and then he's like, I've got a list of what I need. He's building the old Daily Bugle, the kind of the smaller one. And he found like half of the parts he needed, or most of them. He's like, I still haven't found these. And I know I sorted them out into a different location because I was just like absentmindedly sorting and putting in this one thing. I was like, I know they're in this bucket, but it's a big bucket. You got to empty it all out. I was like, it might be there, it might not. I may have put them away. So even after I went through trying to find everything, there were still parts that I needed to get for him. And so I lumped them in with a Q2 parts order. And I was like, yeah, they're on order. They'll be here in a week or something. He's like, whoa, dude, I'll buy them. And I'm like, dude, it's $2 worth of parts. I need $300 worth of parts. I'm going to just lump it in with that. Don't worry about it. It's $2 for me not to have to dig through buckets of parts looking for it. So, all right. So I'm very excited about this right here. This is very good. Now we just need to make sure to attach all this together. That's going to be the next big thing. So that's what we'll work on today. This is a great piece and I really want to use it. I just don't know where to use it. Since it's available in this color, I kind of want to use it to... hang on real quick. I'm going to go see if I can get a new battery. I think my mouse is dying because the right click menu is giving me problems. That usually means that the mouse is done. Hi, Johnny. Welcome back. I hope you didn't kill yourself doing the shoveling. I used to like shoveling, honestly, when I was the older I got as a teenager. Yeah, this is a little better. It wasn't as bad. Then I started, before I moved out of Colorado, I was in my mid-20s, and it was kind of a pain in the butt, but I also lived in an apartment, and I really didn't have to shovel anything. I ended up shoveling a little bit for my parents because they were getting older, but at the time, my mom lived in the mountains in an area called Conifer. And it was her and her husband, and they lived in this kind of, it wasn't a huge house, but it was a fair size house. It was also a mountain house, so it had a lot of land around it, but it was like really rolling, like it was kind of on a hill. And the next house was maybe 100 yards away, 150 yards away. So, I mean, it was a neighborhood because there's a bunch of these houses on this one road, but they weren't really close. So you had a lot of land to deal with. Big yard, but the yard even was a little sloped. A lot of it was just trees and shrubs and rock and whatever. And I was not about to, the driveway was a gravel driveway, and you don't shovel a gravel driveway. You just kind of let it. It just kind of has to melt. You drive up and down on it to pack it down. You can throw salt on it if you want, but yeah, growing up, I kind of didn't mind shoveling all that much. All right, so this is going to have to be put together somehow. Oh, I need to move this out a little bit. Yeah, this was a great find. I know Johnny had mentioned this part, and I know we had a problem finding it, but again, it was because it was a printed piece. It was technically a design piece because it's dual molding. Having a little orange thing means at some point along here, I need to put in a little orange accent. And I don't know where to do that yet, but we'll find out. Yeah, anytime you spend a day with the public, it really drains you. Even if you enjoy doing it, it's still a lot of energy that you put into like being on for 8 hours or something, right? And it does take a lot out of you. So yeah, don't rush yourself getting to that shoveling. This lines up perfectly. Like this is exactly how I want it. So I just have to figure out now how to make it all work. This is all attached okay. I'm going to repeat this. We'll copy and mirror. It didn't work out as nearly as good as I wanted it to. What the heck is going on? I might have to play with this. I don't know that this will actually work. It feels like it would, but I don't know if it will. I have a way to find out. I mean, it's not got a conflict in here, so, but a way I can find out is if, well, first of all, those are too close together. That's going to conflict. Second of all, I don't think that is going to work. I may end up filling this area with like round individual bricks instead, but we can get to that part later. I'm going to see if I've got any of these parts and I can play with this setup here. That's really great. See, and I don't understand. I've yet to hear back from our mall, and I badger them with this. Like I email them once a month and like, hey, all last year, International Lego Day coming up in January. Are we able to secure a spot out in the mall somewhere? There's a giant open area right near the Lego store, and it's kind of close to the food court. Like we can have a thing there. Somebody suggested, you know what, just go to the food court and have a meeting, right? That way people, the public can just kind of come in and ask questions, and you can, you know, there's tables you can display your stuff and everything. I was like, that's not a bad idea. But yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, we're not asking for like much. We can provide our own tables. We can provide our own, all we need is to make sure that we're okay being in that space. I don't understand why somebody wouldn't want that. Okay. I don't necessarily have to have this piece here, but at some point I'm going to have him sit on something. Let's put a bracket in here. Or you know what? That may be too many pieces. The right clicking on this is so bothersome. All right, so I may have to move him back a little bit. Let's group him as one thing. So I can move him around a little bit. Let's just get him over here for now. So was your event tied to anything, or was it International Lego Day stuff? The hitboxes on this thing are just so out of place. Good morning, Bab. International Lego. Yeah, we've had such non-success with International Lego Day. The few times we were able to do it have been, we did it twice at the Austin Central Library, but the problem was they kept doing it on a Sunday before the International Lego Day date, which is the 28th. But instead of doing it like on a Saturday, they would do it on a Sunday, and the library didn't open till noon, and they would start our time that we were there at noon, right? So it's not like there were a bunch of people already in the library who could then go to the event. Like we had people doing, like I was doing a studio workshop in, and it wasn't even like in a main, like close to the children's area or close to the young adult section or close to the workshop area. It was like the fourth floor in the squirrely like back room computer lab or something, and like doors open to the library at noon. My workshop started at noon. So it was the family that came with me to help set up was the only people there. And so I talked to him and was like, can we maybe stagger this so like our stuff starts like an hour after you open? Because the library is huge and it takes you 20 minutes to get wherever you're going. Like that's not fun for anybody. But they did pay us to be there, which was nice. And that's not something we pushed. That's something they offered. So we did it 2 years. This last 2 years, they didn't call us back for it. But I said, if you guys do regular workshops or something, we'd be happy to like fill in a monthly spot of like, here's how you design this. Here's how you use Studio. Here's how you build this. Different workshops, you know, building foliage, building rocks, that kind of stuff. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. We'll have somebody get in touch with you. And nobody ever did. And then we had another library reach out and say, we're doing an International Lego Day celebration. I'm like, sweet. It was this little bitty East Side Austin library, like in a, not an underserved community, but you could tell it was a small library, smallish neighborhood. I think 20 people came by. They had more people come through for the video game night than they did for our Lego thing. And again, it was because it was like from noon to 2 on a Sunday. And I'm like, nobody's going to be here for that. It is kind of frustrating because I'd like to get to the mall for an International Lego Day thing, but every time I pitch it to somebody, I'm passed around. Nobody really understands the request. It gets really frustrating. What color brackets can I do? There are orange brackets. That's probably not cheap. I'm gonna do. Do I have reddish brown? That's probably better. If I start doing reddish brown, or you know what, if there's an orange in here. I'll do orange, so if any of it peeks through, it'll be the same color. Why did that change? There we go. 6 cents. Okay, cool. Well, in International Lego Day, they have it on the 28th. It's the 28th, right? Which can be on a Tuesday, which can be on a Monday. You know, it's not always like the Saturday of. So you have to kind of plan it ahead of time and be like, all right, well, we're going to plan it for the Saturday before or the Saturday after, and just hope that whoever you're working with understands that. I'm gonna do wedge plates and see what colors we can get, because I think I want to have this taper back a little bit, like this. That's a good question, Bev. And we've asked them. The problem is the Lego store can't do that. I've asked, and the Lego store really can't be seen working with the lugs all that much, because they're corporate and we are a fan section of Lego. That's got its own kind of group that it works with, and ne'er the two shall meet. So there's all reason like AFOL Days got canned because it was kind of a crossover between the two, and they couldn't justify the expenses for it. And the store itself, with no help from like corporate, was like, we're doing this kind of on our own, because there were enough people like that were AFOLs that knew that it was a big thing for us to be able to kind of do that. But yeah, I've tried with, I probably will again. I'm like, hey, I know this is going on right now, and I know we haven't really been able to do this, but in the past, there's been a thing called International Lego Day, and we'd really like to be able to do something with the mall or with the Lego group or something, and just just hound them with it more. Don't think I'm gonna like whatever I'm doing here. What color can this be? Okay, that can be dark orange. I'm sure that's expensive. That's expensive. That's not cheap. It's not dark brown. I don't want dark brown. Reddish brown? That's not too bad. Oh, Johnny, if you only knew. Yes, I agree with you. It's and the more stuff happens on the land, the more I'm kind of disillusioned with the whole idea of why lugs even exist. I feel like anymore we're being turned into, hey, run your hobby group like a multi-million-dollar company, but we're not going to support you, and you're only doing it, and you have to make it work with whatever programs that we've got, but we won't help you with anything. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's almost not fun anymore. And we just had a big survey come out. That's too low. I don't like that. That was, would you recommend a lug to another Lego fan or something? And I'm like, honestly, no, I wouldn't. It's like, it feels like anymore we're doing more for you and you're doing less for us, and it's not fun for anybody anymore. And they've got these new package things that they're doing, these new programs that kind of don't really work for us, for our lug. Might work for somebody, and that's fine. But in the meantime, it's not anything that we would want to take advantage of. Because we're not that's not great. Because we're not a group that can put on a multi-day 5,000 attendee event several times a year. Well, and yours is a Simon Mall too, isn't it? Like, I think my original email to our mall was, hey, I've been in contact with a mall in Pennsylvania. Here's the contact information. Here's how they had it set up. we'd like to do something similar. And this is after a few times of not really reaching anybody. That was the one thing that got through. And I'm like, this is what they've done. They bring their own tables. They bring their own sets. They have people building on site. They have some interactive stuff. We could bring play brick. We could, all this kind of stuff. The thing that they're worried about is they need insurance somehow. That was the big sticking point, is like, how is this going to be insured? I'm like, insured against what? Like, I get it, but I mean, insured against what? So if we didn't have insurance, we really couldn't do it. So I was like, well, then I don't even want to be part of it. So I don't like the way this bottom piece is coming together, but we'll figure out something here in a second. We'll play around with it and see what we can change. God, those are expensive too. What is dark brown in here that keeps changing it? Is it his hair? Something is dark brown in here. Thank you. Yeah, and I don't think they provide anything. Like, if I ask them for tables and stanchions, we have stanchions. Brick Rodeo has them. If I wanted to use them, I could borrow them. And everybody I know who displays, we've got card tables, we've got tablecloths. Like, we can do all that stuff. But I mean, if they have it, that'd be great. But I mean, I can't even, the tables and stanchions aside, I can't even get them to agree to like have us there to show anything off. Well, the insurance that I'm thinking of is like if a kid chokes on a Lego while they're there. I think everybody knows that if you're bringing stuff to a lug event, and honestly, we would do one day. I don't think we would do multiple days. So yeah, knowing that you'd have to tear it all down and put it all back up, probably not an issue. I'm not really worried about people's stuff getting stolen because I don't think we'll be there more than a day. But if it turned out that was that way, then that's something else to work out. I wish this would stop rotating. There's another one of these pieces. I don't need this anymore. There it is. Does this piece fit better the other way? It might. There's that gap. Okay, well, let's go back to Snot Brick. Yeah, the libraries are fine. The problem with the libraries is I could email all the libraries in Austin right now, and I would probably get about, like, if I just blanket email the 20 some libraries we have here, I'd be like, hey, do you guys have any programs coming up that we can display at or do a workshop at? And about 10 of them would say, yeah, anytime, just let us know. We'll put you on the calendar. And some of them do have big events that we've displayed at. I'm a little upset that we didn't do Library Con last time, but they have, this is Pflugerville Library, my local library. They have limited space. And so I understand if they, were like, well, we had more people show up for, to do cosplay So we wanted to make sure they all had room, and so that's why. But you're welcome to still do the Maker Faire one. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll do that. Oh yeah. Yep. I get you. Does this go over one? This right click is not my friend today. I just replaced some battery. Which one of these are... Oh, that won't work. So yeah, it's a struggle. It's a constant struggle because I'm always trying to find new stuff for our group to do, and not having a ton of luck doing it. And it seems like there would be so much stuff to do in Austin, and I'm just not having a whole lot of luck finding it. It's actually going to be 2 of those. That's too much, man. Slope. Fill in this back area. So I haven't regaled everybody with my tale of how I got my internet back up. So y'all remember, like a couple weeks ago, maybe a little more than a week ago, we lost internet. And oh, look at these chunky pieces. Those are nice. What colors do those come in? Trans black. Wow. Those have got to be a speed champion or this has got to be the window of a Ferrari. These got to be in some sort of Technic or speed champion car thing. That's where all the cool parts come from, man. So we lost internet. And I like that. I thought it was I thought it was an area outage because every time I checked on the app or the site, it said there are reports of an outage in your area. And when I checked on Down Detector, I did see a couple people report it. And in my area on their map, they had a couple people reporting it. So I was like, okay. Area outage. So I gave it a day. The next morning, still no internet. And I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a little bit longer. And by that afternoon, I was like, hey, so this outage is taking a long time. So I checked with the chat, their support chat, which I'm sure is 100% AI, even though it's like, we're connecting you with a person. And I'm like, no, you're not. Oh, I don't like this. I'm going to change this. So finally I got a hold of somebody and they're like, yeah, it looks like you're having a line issue. We can send out a tech for that. I'm like, oh, so this isn't an area outage. And like, no, it looks like it's just you. It's just related to your specific account. I'm like, okay, well then why did you keep saying, I waited almost 2 days because your website and the chat that I connected to every time said it was an area outage. So I haven't really been able to work because I work from home. What's the difference between these two? Probably how they connect underneath. I bet one of them lines up differently. Nope. Wow. Well, I'm going to use the newer number, I guess. So it's like, yeah, I don't think it's just me. So they sent out a tech and he's like, he does work and he gets me back up and running. But then I was like, so what was the deal? Was there like a fiber cut somewhere? Yeah, I am too, Vab, honestly. I'm shocked we actually still have power. I'll get to that in a second because I see that VW1046 has asked if we got snow. It's snow-ish. It's grapple, frozen sleet, something, hard snow. Like everything's white outside, about a half an inch to an inch of white, right, on the ground. Roads, cars, grass. There's no ice covering anything, like trees. So we lucked out that way. So a lot of like power lines probably weren't caked over. I did this for a reason. I didn't like how high that was. So now I need to put another plate in here and sit them in there and see what it looks like. So yeah, we're good. I just saw a truck drive by. Like, I think, we're probably safe. I'd like him a little more tucked in there, but I get it. The only reason I haven't done a bracket is because there's going to be a space here, but whatever. Yeah, I'm surprised we have power too. And knock on wood, we continue to have power the rest of the next day or two because it's supposed to be in the below freezing for like a day. So we'll see. Technician comes out, gets me hooked back up, says, I was like, so was it like a fiber cut or what happened? Like what was wrong with my line specifically? And he's like, well, your line seemed to have a lot of noise on it. I'm like, okay. He's like, you have an older modem and we've gone from DOCSIS 3.0 to DOCSIS 3.1. It's just TCP communications is how modems talk to ISPs. It's just a protocol language, but one will work, but it's less secure. And probably has a lot of it has to authenticate a lot back and forth or talk to the ISP back and forth. And anyway, that causes a lot of traffic. He's like, you have an older modem and it caused a lot of noise on the line. He's like, so I think they just disconnected it. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, when it causes noise like that, it affects everybody from the trunk down because it has to talk back to it. And if there's a lot of noise back and forth, then it kind of affects everybody. I was like, oh, so they just shut it off? And he's like, yeah, that's what it looks like. And I was like, okay. So I was like, thank you for getting me set back up. I realize this is not your problem. So I went back to the chat online. I was like, hi, so a technician just left my house and he had mentioned that my line had been disconnected because there was too much noise on it because I had an older modem. And they're like, oh, we don't disconnect anybody for that. I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't have internet for almost 2 days. And the technician who's out here reconnected me after saying it had been disconnected. So you tell me. And I was like, I wasn't able to work for 2 days. Like at the very most, I need a credit on my account for the days I missed. Or if you're good, credit me a month, They're like, well, the system says it can credit you $2, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm in the market to move to AT&T now because I'm on Optimum, which was Suddenlink, which was some company out of New Jersey, and I'm like, okay, you guys have had your run. And everybody I talked to, I was like, look, I'm not happy about this. Like, somebody disconnected my internet. Nobody warned me ahead of time. Like, if y'all had reached out and said, we've noticed some problems with your line, it looks like you have an older modem. We can provide you a modem, or if you'd like to buy your own, please do, because blah, blah, blah. But no, they just shut it off. So I'm like, tell you what, I don't even really care if I get a credit on my account. I expect an apology. I want an area manager or somebody high up to email or call me and say, look, we messed up. We're sorry. Won't happen again. Moving forward, we will contact customers. And I'm like, that's all I really want. And I waited, and the guy goes, is there anything else I can help you with? Thank you for, we understand, like right in a row. Is there anything else I can help you with? Thank you for your continued, being a part of our Optimum family, and then disconnected the chat. I'm like, oh, son. I was like, I have the day off. I'm an old man. You don't want to upset an old man who has time on his hands. So I spent all day in chat just yelling at people. And I was like, look, I was going to get a new modem anyway. That was, I know it's old, and I wanted a new one anyway. But you come out and disconnect my account because there's noise on the line? Oh, man. I was so mad. So I think I'm going to connect this via the top, but I don't really know how to do that. There's another plate, studs. This one's too big. Yeah, so anyway, I got a new modem. I tried. I was like, there's a phone number that you can call, and I wasn't able to get past tier 1 at all because I technically didn't have a problem. And so there's no email, there's no nothing. I could not get through the bureaucracy. And after a while, I'm like, you know what? So the last thing that I told them was, I got a new modem, everything's fine, everything works, you can cancel the tech call. I will be switching my service. And I'm sure I'm gonna have to go through retention and everything, and I'll just bring it up. And I'm like, so when I got a new modem, I still wasn't able to get my computer to register that I had 1 gig speed. I would do speed testing, it would race up to 20 megs and then stop, right? Wi-Fi was something, it was good. My PlayStation was fine, but this one machine wasn't working. And I'm like, man. So in the process, I contacted the modem company, Eris, and I was like, can I see what my modem is getting in terms of like traffic and see what it should be getting? So I had a tech who was very helpful. We looked at the logs of everything, and he's like, yeah, you're not getting nearly enough what you should be from your ISP. He's like, I would put in a tech call and say, this is what I'm expecting to see, and you're not providing it. So I was like, okay, cool. So finally got it sorted. There was also an app that I had that monitored LAN activity. Anything going across the Ethernet, it would monitor and kind of give you a report. And it turns out that was restricting stuff. Like, it didn't work with Windows 11 at all. So I uninstalled that, jumped right up to like 800 megs down. And I'm like, perfect. Canceled all my tech calls, and I was like, all right, y'all, I'm going to be canceling you, and here's why. So, because they keep advertising fiber internet. I'm like, it's fiber down to the trunk, and it's coax into the house, right? It's not fiber terminating at the house. It's coax up to here. That's not fiber internet. So, I kind of want him to sit like down in it a little bit, but I don't know how to make that work. Maybe one plate up. So it's been fun. So I got it all working, but yeah, the power is fine here currently. Really lucked out. In terms of like our power and internet currently, I mean, knock on wood, everything's good. Well, and I tried a bunch of different settings on my NIC. I tried hard setting the duplex speed. I tried turning off all this front loading stuff. I tried redoing the drivers. There's a 25H2 update that did have problems communicating with the Ethernet connection, and I was worried I was going to have to roll back a whole operating system update. But then I was like, is there anything else I'm running that might do this? And it was like, oh, I'm running this monitoring software, and I turned that off and it immediately worked. And I'm like, huh. So it either doesn't know how to talk to an updated 25H2 Windows, system, or I don't know. I'm like, well, I just needed that for a little bit and I don't need it anymore. So there you go. That was an easy fix. Let's put corner plates on here. I really haven't done a whole lot. Hey, Cliff, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hope you are warm and safe wherever you are. Plate 3. But yeah, Austin seems to be doing fine in terms of power and whatever. Haven't lost any. Come on, get in there. All right, that's a good, I think that's good. That's a good setup. Copy and mirror, bam. Color these to be, let's do brown. That is whatever is the cheapest, reddish brown. Wow, okay. These will be, I'm gonna do these in orange because I need some orange highlights in here to kind of counteract this one back here. You hate this weather. I love this weather. Beth threatened to lock me out of the house. She's like, about to lose my voice, hang on. I went outside while it was grappling, sleeting. Also, sleeting and hard snow kind of thing with thunder and lightning. So we got thunder sleet yesterday, which I think is a band. I think thunder sleet is a band. Oh, that works really well. And then I think I just want to do tile. All right, Johnny, take care. We're old now. Don't hurt yourself. What the heck? So weird. I forgot what I was going to say. I really like the weather, so while it was coming down yesterday, I went out in the middle of it to just kind of like, not out there, but even then it wasn't wet. It was kind of pelting, like it was dry hitting you. It wasn't really wet. And yeah, it was like 28 degrees, which is really cold for here. But I mean, the weather felt really dry. Like it didn't feel really wet. So it was not as cold as it probably could have been. And I had jeans with PJ pants underneath it, nice warm socks, and my slippers, and like a t-shirt. And I wasn't going to be out there for long, but I was enjoying it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. I really like cold weather. And Beth's like, would you get back in here? You're going to freeze to death. I'm like, I'm not going to freeze to death. She's like, you're going to be out there. You're going to get frostbite. And she's like, if you're going to stay out there, I'm just going to lock the door because you're being dumb. And I'm like, so you're going to lock me out because I'm being dumb. It was really funny. We had a little bit of a go. All right. I need something to fill in here. And I think it will be inverted slopes. And what color can I get for these inverted slopes? Was there not a gold option? Do orange. Can I do brown? Brown available? Yeah, I might do that. So yeah, I really like the weather. Beth doesn't. Nobody in Texas really does. I get it. Nope. Got a little anxious there. Also, Cliff, I didn't give you props for what's a Moya. What is the Moya? Moya is a ship from Farscape. Farscape is a show that was on Sci-Fi Channel for a little bit, 4 years, and then they had a movie to kind of wrap it up because it got canceled a little early. It is arguably one of the best science fiction shows of all time. I would rank it up there with Battlestar Galactica or Stargate. It's really well developed. It's funny. It's irreverent. It's super creative. It's a little sexy. It has great creature design and great acting and good story arcs. They take some chances. Like there was an animated. They did one that was cartoon. They didn't do a musical one, but they did one where it was like. The typical nobody knows who they are kind of episode. But it's basically Buck Rogers. There's an Earth scientist who's testing a shuttle idea. And he goes up there in this experimental flyer craft, this little kind of one-man shuttle, and goes up into space. They launch him out of the bigger rocket, and he's going to try to do some experimental speed calculations where he like kind of uses the gravity of the planet to pull him in and then kind of banks off of the atmosphere, and it gives him a boost, right? So his ship is called Farscape 1, and right as he's doing his experiment, a magnetic storm of some kind, an EM wave, hand wavy, hits the Earth, right? It doesn't really hurt the Earth all that much, but his little ship hits right then, and it sends him through like a wormhole, and he appears on the other side of the galaxy, and he's picked up by this ship, and it's a living ship called a Leviathan, and it is currently taking prisoners. The bad guys of the empire of this area of space use these ships to transfer prisoners. So the ship itself is kind of a prisoner. The pilot that runs it is kind of a prisoner. And then there's all these other prisoners on it. But these prisoners have escaped their cells and are trying to flee. So John Crichton gets swooped up into the ship. The ship breaks its shackles and it takes off, right? So it's the rest of the show is them running from the bad guys, who are called peacekeepers, which is kind of funny. But it's really, really great. Like, I'm rewatching it now, and I really like it. 28 is a heat wave. Yeah, it used to be, when I was in Colorado, I mean, you'd get negative 20 something. That's before the wind chill. So it was really a problem. And I used to have a job. I don't think there's an underside. Do I have an underside view of this, of Moya? That's kind of an underside view. Yeah, we're doing all right. I think we're doing all right. Try to keep it simple. Honestly, I don't know that I would do much more than this. Maybe put another one of these like right here. Or what I could do, let's do a bracket. I used to have a job that would, I had to work outside. And it was, I think I've talked about it. It was a public service job. And it sounds like I was working for like 4-H or something like that. It wasn't that kind of job, public service. The company was called Public Service. But it was basically a utility company. And oh man, I don't know if that's gonna look good. I was really hoping that would. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. There's just too many limited colors here. For these pieces, they're too new. What about these pieces? These are also pretty cool. Reddish brown, maybe a little better. Yeah. This will give me an excuse to buy some of these. And we don't have any idea how much these are for parts. Let's see if we can look it up. Reddish brown for sale. $6 in the US. Oh, well, guess what? I'm not using those pieces. I guess we're using cheese wedges. What's different about these? Is it older or something? Taller? $0.30. Okay, well, I can do 30 cents. That's easier. So the job was basically a contract with the city, and we would go around and replace electric meters and gas meters. Because at the time, and this was in the mid-90s, you would have meter readers just running around the neighborhood, looking at your electric meter and taking a reading. And then they note it in their little thing, and then they bring it back. And my dad actually worked for Public Service, and he was part of the crew that wrote the software that maintained the database that was all these meter readers would come in and dump their data in, and it would create reports, which would create billing, which would be sent out to users. So I was working for a company that was replacing, it was kind of like eliminating jobs. It was kind of, now that I think about it, kind of shitty. But instead of a person walking and manually reading a counter, it was replacing all the meters with RF meters, which means they could drive down, or they could like walk and just like get a reading as they got closer. And eventually they could drive around in stronger RF signals and just get readings as they went around, or wireless enabled, they would report back on their own. So, but what you had to do is go take the big glass cylinder out of the meter, put a new one in, right? You had to notate what the time and everything was and what their current reading was, pull it out, put it back in, report it all back so they could verify everything. The electrical ones, the gas ones were fine because it was kind of the gas meter was, you didn't have access to the gas itself, right? It was closed off. Whatever was reading it was inside, and then you had like a thing just coming out from that turning a dial. So replacing that one was fine. You had a gasket that kept it safe from the elements, but that was it. They were pretty easy. In fact, I would rather have done more gas elements than electrical elements, because electric, you had to first of all, you had to turn the power off, and people didn't like that, especially if they were home. That's not actually attached to anything. Dang it. I thought I was getting away with it being really good, but... Oh, you know what? I don't have to do this. So you'd have to shut their power off to do this, because you're basically interrupting it when you take the meter away, because it's in the middle of the circuit. That's going to be a dodgy connection. So you go turn, you notify them that you're going to turn their power off, and if they're okay with it, then you go ahead and start the process. And you go to the, you go to the meter, you open up the thing, you have to unscrew the two feeds, the two lines. City power comes in, goes through the meter, goes back into the house. You got to take those off. Well, you got a hot line and you have a non-hot line. You got a live line, because that's the power coming into the building, and then this one's not, because that's where the circuit, that's the other half of the circuit. So you have to open it up, tape that off, move it out of the way, right? You have to ground yourself before you do anything else. Then you move the other one out of the way, pull the meter, put the new meter back in, put the ground in, put the live in, close it all up. When it's -40 out and you're wearing, you've got these giant rubber gloves to help you. You can't, there's these little screws that you got to do with the meters. You can't work like that. So you got to take the gloves off in order to function, to get the screws into the little, so your hands are freezing, right? And rubber is not a good heat insulator. So even if you had the rubber gloves on to help you, you couldn't stay warm. Some guys had like gloves inside, like really thin gloves inside their rubber gloves, but you still couldn't function. So a lot of times we're just taking our gloves off to do this. And it was miserable. And so then you go back in your truck and you spend like 10, 15 minutes trying to warm up. So your quota gets crap because you're not meeting your quota at all. Let's say you've got to do 20 meters in a day. Why is this not connecting? I'm gonna have to do this connection thing, aren't I? There we go. I knew that was in there somewhere. And that lines up okay. I'm okay with that. Please say it's a color I can use. Dark orange. 7 cents. Brilliant. Brilliant. And then I can put another plate here. Plate around. To help it connect. I might do orange there. Trying to do some orange so it ties in with the back here. So if I can just copy this. I'm gonna turn that off, that's getting in the way. So it actually wasn't that bad of a job. I actually kind of liked it. I get to drive around Denver a lot. I got to be outside. The only downside was when it got really cold. Because it got really cold, right? And you get fussed at because you weren't doing enough to get your quota. And so, it kind of was a pain in the butt. But that was the only downside to it, was when it was really cold. The only other downside was when I shocked myself twice. The other thing about electric meters is some of them on the outside, if it's a home that was built within the last 20 so years, older homes have electric meters on the inside. It's usually in the kitchen somewhere. There's also different current going to some of these older homes, especially like big cities like Denver, they have old homes, or like rural areas. Unless you have some sort of revamp that somebody's done. You've got, it's 120 volts going into a house, 110, I forget. And then newer homes will have 240, and some of those will have like a transformer or something that kind of, it may ramp it down to 120, so you're not pulling so much for like appliances and things. But your breaker will have 240 going into it, which means when you pull the meter, that's 240 volts. So the rule was 120 will bite you, 240 will throw you. Usually with the 240 ones, you'd work as partners, but partners in our case was you split up and get as many meters as you can, but it's 2 people to 1 truck. What it should have been is, hey, I'm doing a 240, come over here and make sure that I don't get killed, and have a stick or something that can pull me back, but we didn't do that. So one time I was in a lady's house, old lady's house, and she had one that was up high in between the hallway between the kitchen and her rest of her house, and had a ladder. You have to bring your own ladder, and the ladder was precarious because it was in this little bitty hallway. And so I'm changing the meter out, and I don't know why I got distracted, but it bit me, and it, I was like, fell off the ladder. And of course there's stairs that go down into the basement right behind me. So I fell down all these stairs, and I was like, I'm going to have somebody else come out and finish this for you. And I called my partner. I'm like, come out and finish this. I just got electrocuted and fell down some stairs. The other time was a trailer park. Honestly, I think I'm done. Oh wait, I wanted to fill in this area in here so I can maybe put something. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cross this or not. Yeah, I don't think so. So I got to figure out what to put in here to fill that gap. So let's move him. So I went to a... Can I do 2 like this? Seems like a lot. It's not too bad. Can I cross over here? I can't. But I can put... Sorry, I'm trying to talk and build at the same time. Inverted tile. What color can this inverted tile be? Trailer park, and I contacted, you go to the front door and you knock and you wait and you knock again and you wait and you give it about 30 seconds to a minute. And then if they don't answer, we had flyers and we hung them on door hangers. We hung them on the door hanger, and it said, public service, we're shutting your power off temporarily to make changes to the meter. If you notice your clocks have been reset, or you've got medical, something like that, and you have any issues, please contact this phone number. And sometimes if we couldn't reach it, we had another door hanger that said, we need to do this, please contact us and make an appointment. But knock, 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 ring doorbell, knock, 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 ring doorbell. There's nobody there. And I could hear a TV, but I'm like, sometimes people leave TVs on. They may have run out for something, just left the TV on. Maybe they have an animal. They leave the TV on to keep them company. Can these be an orange? So nobody answers, so we go around the side and around the back of the trailer park. And I'd done 5 or 10 in this loop in this trailer park. No problems. And I get to do this. I think these might be cheaper, so I want some that are cheaper. I open up the box, and it's at the end of the day, and I'm tired, and you know, unscrew the. I forget now if you do the live first. I think you do the live first. So I did the live, and then I forgot something, and I went back to, like, I reached around to grab my screwdriver out of my toolbox, and as I did, I twisted, and the live hit the inside of the box where the meter is, right? And it went pow, and it threw me back. Just big old explosion. And I don't remember anything for a good couple minutes. Luckily, I think I had my gloves on, but I mean, just the force of the pop just threw me back. Ears were ringing, you know, double vision for a second. I was looking up, next second I was looking up at the sky kind of thing. And about 10 seconds later, there's a dude standing over me going, "What the hell are you doing to my," you know? And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Blah, blah, blah." And so, like, I got everything hooked back up. I didn't change the meter, but I got everything hooked back up. And I gave him the door flyer, and I said, "Somebody will come out and schedule a thing." You know, he was really mad, but I'm like, I have to get out of here. So I gave him a flyer, and he's still yelling at me as I got back into my truck. And I basically called my supervisor, and I was like, "Hey, this happened." And he's like, "Go home. Well, you know, don't worry about it. Go home. We'll have somebody come back out." But yeah, it was freaky. Like, my whole arm was numb and not fun. I kind of want to put it in another little orange bit to make it less. What is that? Can I do an orange one there? Nah, that's more expensive. No, I didn't want to delete it. Turn back to brown. All right. Well, I think this is pretty good. So I wanted to figure out how to put, like, whips on it or other things to kind of give it, like, these, like, swirly structures, but I don't know if that's necessary, and I don't know how I would get them on there. Like, originally I thought about doing something like, I could just get this guy to sit in there like this, and then have it kind of lay down next to it, you know? But I think that's too much. I think it being smooth is fine. If I wanted to print something on there, I probably could, but I think it's good. So let's get rid of all these other pieces, and then we'll do a verification, make sure everything's good. The minifig we're not going to worry about because it's obviously not made to worry about. So we'll check the rest, we'll scroll down the rest of this, and it looks good. Looks fine. No conflicts of colors. So we're good. We're going to save it. And because now I have schmancy new, I'd like to see how much this is. Maybe if we do this and then, like, highlight that. $12. I'd be interested in seeing if that were actually the case. So I'm going to do a render real quick. And then the last, like, half hour stuff, I've got something I also wanted to look at in terms of studio and the mosaics. I had a friend from our lug ask about mosaics. I want to show off the 3 things back here. Still not enough orange. That orange is really standing out, but I don't think it can be helped. I don't know. What do y'all think? Does it need more orange somewhere to offset this big old thing back here, or is it? I think it's great. I think it's perfect the way it is. I think if I mess with it anymore, I'm just gonna mess with it too much. It's 57 pieces, which is really low for a microfighter. It's a good shape of a microfighter. I'm kind of sad that I did this one here instead of doing it for the workshop at Brick Rodeo, because I'm gonna start running out of ships. And this one I thought was gonna be really complicated, but it turned out to be kind of fun. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Save, and we'll do a render real quick. I don't want to, I want to actually solid color background. And we'll do a nice bluish kind of background. More blue than that. Happy little trees. Okay, good. So I haven't done a whole lot of mosaics, but Fred asked about mosaics the other day, and the question was basically, how do you make an instruction with a mosaic? And their mosaic was really big. It was like some 13,000 pieces or something. I mean, it was quite extensive. Show the rendering here on this fun screen that shows everything being built. And there you go. There's a Moya. Yeah, that turned out really good. I like it. These pieces up here are clutch. I don't think this internal bit is going to work really well, but I think I have enough of these pieces to make it work. So I'll figure out a different thing in here. It probably just needs to be round plates or something like that. We'll make it work, but I'll build it in real life with what parts I have and see what clicks. Okay, cool. So that's done. So initially, oh, that's what I was going to do. So with this in mind, let's take all the parts. I'm going to get rid of this guy for now. And I'm going to put everything into step 1. So we've got one step in here. And we're going to get rid of step 2 and step 3. So we only have one step, right? Nothing else. Now the instructions used to generate steps. That's what it is. All right, so I need to show this. This is for Frankie. He's usually in the chat. He's sometimes in the chat. His wife is doing a big mosaic. So I need to tell them, you can only have one step, because I think now if I were to break this out and say add another step and move these pieces into it, so that when you do instructions, it no longer gives you the generate steps, because it's assuming you already have all the steps. So if I highlighted all these, what? So if I highlighted all these, it won't let me highlight multiple. Huh, okay. That's not great. Anyway, if I put all these back into that step, it should do it. Why is it giving me a step before? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Gotcha. What happens if I do that? Okay, so you can only have one step before it'll generate steps for you. So if you hit generate steps, it should, you know, we'll cycle through this to see. Yeah, see, sometimes it'll build things that there's nowhere for that to attach to. So you kind of have to, you know, you have to come up with your own thing. especially if it's complicated little fiddly bits, it probably won't work really well. So I will make sure to mention that to them. All right. So we've got, am I not going to get Crichton back? There we go. Okay. Don't save. Got Crichton. Cool. So this is good. This is very good. I'm pleased with this. That is a want list. So we do ship list. And we come down and say non-Star Wars ships. I have Moya in here somewhere. Moya, top of the list. Done. So now we need to think of what to do next. I can start another one of these, or I can, you know what? Let's go back to, you know what? To kill time, I think I'm going to go build an AT-AT in Studio. I've been meaning to do this anyway. I don't have any need for these. So this is going to be part of the theme bending project. And I'll just do this because we're already in Studio and I don't have to flip around to like doing a build or whatever. But this is kind of the process of getting these all put together. Thank you, Bev, by the way, and Missy, appreciate it. To get an official set built, there's no way to import it built. I don't know why they don't offer that. But if you're interested, if you go to Rebrickable, and this may be covering some areas that we've already gone over, but you can go to Rebrickable, and there's a, did I get a message? New mock, okay. Did they get this? Okay, cool. Ooh, new mock by, this is one of my favorite designers, Arendelle 2016. They do a lot of small builds and stuff. It's pretty cool. They do a lot of nice stuff. Darth designer is also very cool. Ooh, Thunderbirds. If y'all are into military aircraft, Darth designer is a guy to set you up. He does some really good work. Helicopters, battleships, fighter aircraft, you name it. So Rebrickable also has a forum that I think requires a different login ID, but you can use the same login ID. I don't know how it works. But they have things like reporting parts that aren't showing up properly, all kinds of stuff. How to submit mocks that don't make, why something got rejected, inventories being wrong, that kind of thing, right? General chit chat. But there's also, and it's kind of hidden, so look for Lego sets in Studio, LDD, etc., right? And people have been using this thread to go in and post fully built sets in Studio. And I think they're kind of using it, and the problem is it's limited to people who have the time to do this, who want to do it, and who have access to Studio and a computer, working computer. So, I mean, it's not super limited, and it's also people who know about the forum. So, not a ton of people. It does say that it has, like, I don't know how many, I guess that's how many views or whatever. But, oh, that's funny with the new Crocs. So you can build a set, come in here, and then if you want, you can pull down the IO file and open it up, and it'll have a fully built set. So this is a fully built set, that's fully built, that's fully built. And it's not a palette like this, right? So I've submitted, I think I've submitted. That's a good one. Some of these I think are the 3-in-1s. So I just did that one. And then I did an A-wing. And I think that's it. I think I also did, there's another one I did, the tall neck, because I wanted to render it. Anyway, so part of the process is actually getting this put together. So I'm going to go to brick set, do add at. I got to find the right one. I don't remember which set this was because I think I just called it, 8192. Probably be better to put the model number in there. 8. And I think I picked this one. 29. That's my dysgraphia for you. I picked this one because I feel like it was an older one, but also one that might have been easier to do in Studio and easier to rebuild. Like I didn't want it to be a massive one because I wanted to sit with all the other theme bent ships, and I didn't want it to look like a giant thing. Plus, this will be easier to do. So the first thing to do is you have to build the whole thing, and that's what we're gonna do. So we open the instructions and just get going. So some of these are also older instructions. This is an old set. 8129. Oh, that's so weird that I can highlight the number from the PDF. So I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to have the instructions off screen. So I really won't be able to see what's going on with... I'll try to keep the chat open, but I'll keep the instructions. I'm covering my own face, so I can't really see what's going on. So if anything pops up, let me know. I wonder if... And the first thing is pilots. So we'll just get cracking here. And this, it's boring, but if I wanted to do this thing, it kind of has to be done because I need to know what pieces are on there so I know what pieces to switch. So I can kind of recolor and then see what pieces I can trade out and have it kind of, not just color-wise, but switch up some pieces to be like, well, sets in the 90s didn't have these pieces really. So I'm going to try to change it up a little bit to be more like the actual theme. But the idea is just to make the set look like that theme. So, yeah, so this is fun. Now that everybody's snowed in, what are your plans for... do you think you're going to be snowed in the rest of the week? Is it just today? What are your thoughts? I think we're planning on going over to a friend's house later for some enchiladas and Stranger Things. We haven't watched the new season of Stranger Things yet. We're about 4 or 5 episodes in. That's a 4x. And then we've got 1x6s. Luckily, this is all kind of organized by color, so you can usually grab pieces pretty easily. I think after this too, I've been playing a little bit of, I should do that as a stream maybe one day, is play Kyber. I don't know if anybody would like that at all. I'm not a gaming channel, but if anybody wanted to see what Kyber looked like, it's basically a launcher for a modding community for Battlefront 2. And I guess you'd have to play Battlefront 2 to kind of know what's going on, but they've basically, Battlefront 2 stopped being supported by EA and DICE a while ago, and they haven't had any new content in years. And so there's a modding community that has started doing new heroes and new maps and new infantry characters, a lot of cosmetic stuff, but like full-on new models with voice lines and new modes, and it's really, really fun. And I've just now started it because while I've played 4,500 hours on PlayStation, I've played almost no hours on, I can't tell what that brick is. I think it's an axle. These old instructions are garbage. I played a ton of hours on the PlayStation, but I just started on PC because my video card that I had wasn't great for a long time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it on PC, see what the fuss is about. The lobbies aren't as big, so you have to wait a little while sometimes to get a game, but I really haven't had a problem with it. But then the modding community, it's really easy to download. And basically you download the launcher and it launches you into the modded Star Wars Battlefront 2. And then once you're in there, you can play any of the games listed. You can host your own server. You can join up on a server. And the server will say, we're using these specific mods. Please download these. Some of the mods will stack. Like you can be in, it's called Battlefront 2 Plus or something. That has all these new additions to every little trooper. It has all the new heroes in it. You really don't have to get a whole lot. But then there's some like you can play Battlefront 2 Lego, and it changes all the characters to look like Lego. You can do ones that are like, it's a brand new map that they're testing out, and it's nothing but like 20 on 20 Jedi fighting. So it's just lightsabers all over the place, right? Or you can play the current maps that are in there just with newer units. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorite weapons that you can get a thing called you can get a mortar, a smart mortar, which is like a turret. It'll just, you plant it and then it'll try to shoot people. But there's another one it's the same thing, but it launches fireworks. So you set it up, and then when somebody gets in range, it just shoots fireworks up in the air. It's so much fun. There's no reason for it, but I am having a blast. And that just stays open, I guess. Sort and read. I also need to build and read. Nice. I'm excited to be done with my certain point of view novel it's a Star Wars book with a bunch of short stories from Return of the Jedi. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't tell me how long this is. I'm assuming there aren't too many. And a long... So here's where we're spoiled. This doesn't tell you how long either of these things are. In the new ones, it says this is whatever length. Now, if you've got one in there, it's not going to matter because that's the one you got to use. If you've got multiple, it might have said something if there were multiple in here, but I only have one. And I don't know how far this is going to go in. Doesn't really say how far that goes in. Let's say it goes in that far. Once I'm done with those, Beth got me for Christmas a bunch of Lord of the Rings books that I'm excited to start. That's all the Silmarillion stories like Beren and Luthien and the Fall of Numenor and stuff like that. So I'm excited to start reading those. I've got Libby that I do audiobooks on, but my hold list, can't see if I'm doing this right. My hold list is, I've got 4 books in there. And they've got like, you're the 6th in line here, you're the 12th in line here, you're the 2nd in line here, 7 copies in use, your 2nd line here. There's one I'm listening to now that already has another hold on it. So I'm not even going to be able to finish it. And then I have to return it and wait to get back into it. And there's like 3 or 4 books that I'm doing like that. Mercy of the Gods by James S.A. Corey. Terry Pratchett book. Another Brandon Sanderson book. So I'm reading 2 books plus whatever audiobooks I've got. And the audiobooks are great to put on headphones and come out here and sort. It's really calming. I could spend hours doing that. So yeah, that'd be nice. Doing some reading and sorting and playing. But I think after this, I'm probably going to do the Battlefront thing for a little bit. I'm going to check on Beth and the animals, make sure everybody, needs lunch or whatever. I think Beth's going to sleep most of the day until we go over to our friend's house for enchiladas. Or they might come over here, I'm not really sure. Building some small sets of my inventory, maybe read and relax. Got a Lego fry truck and a burger truck was planning on building. Cool. Just relaxing, sorting Lego building. I'm really excited about like doing Lego because as you guys know, and I've talked about this, I was really worried that the only time I was doing Lego stuff was on stream. And I feel like I've gotten out of that, so I'm really happy about that. Instead of getting off work and immediately going into the TV room and just turning on a video game or something, I actually immediately come into the Lego room and start sorting or building or something. So that feels really good. I also have a collaborative build that I need to work on. Our sister lug, one of our sister lugs here in Texas. Oh, this doesn't go all the way back. I see. They are doing a collaborative build that we can be a part of. Dallas, it's the Dallas lug. And they are doing some interesting bits with different kits. I think they got 3. One's like general, it's like build a maze, and they're going to do that more interactively with people on site. This is all going to be for Brick Rodeo. Then there's another one that's like a Chicago era 1920s jazz club kind of thing that they're building modulars basically, but it's a certain type of look for the buildings. And then another one is called Where the Earth Meets the Sea, and it's going to be a lot of shorelines. And the idea initially was different types of shorelines, like different locations have like really rocky shorelines, or they drop off really sharply into the water and the water's a little more rough, or there's like nice white sand beaches, or there's like kind of rolling knolls and hills and stuff before it gets to some water. And the idea was to kind of build all these things that line up as like different shorelines, and then you can put on whatever you want to, beachgoers or dwellings or whatever. So I'm gonna get mine, and I'm gonna do Death Stranding 2 because the game was called On the Beach, and I'm basically gonna build. The water is gonna be black. It's gonna be tar water because that's what's in Death Stranding, and then I'm gonna get Sam. And I might like show you what I was thinking here in a second. If I can do that in studio first. I'm probably going to build this like as I go. Because you order the kit. The kit's like the basic beach and water stuff. And some base plates, right? And I haven't even really started it. I haven't even opened up what the kit is. But I'm going to give you an idea of what I was going to do. So, oh, it's all over here. Death Stranding 2. Let's see if we can find a good image of what I'm looking for doing here. So obviously building the main character, Sam Porter. So he's got a giant backpack. I'm going to give him probably a bigger backpack. I might have him carrying the kid with him, Lou. Might give him sunglasses, I don't know yet. Let's see if I can put in Sam. If there's a good shot of him, because he's kind of a, you know, he's got a lot going on. All these things that he delivers. Can't really see behind the chat, but he always has stuff that's hanging off him. All the packages and stuff he's delivering. So I'm going to do that. But then the beaches are, I don't know if I got a really good image of it here, but there's, oh, maybe Tar Lake, because there's one place called Tar Lake. So, oh, that's pretty good. That's the bunker that the dude lives on Tar Lake. But these locations, that's not a really good one. That's pretty good. If you don't know the story behind Death Stranding, it's basically the world between our life and the afterlife is called a beach. And when you die, you cross over this beach to whatever's beyond it, right? And if you get stuck there, that's called a death stranding, right? You're stuck on this beach. There's some people who have what's called dooms. It's like a disease or a syndrome, and they can visit this beach and sometimes even use it to power some abilities they might have. Your character, Sam Porter, can basically, if he dies, he visits the beach, but then he can come right back. So he's not immortal, but he can, it's very hard to kill him, right? So with these people stranded there, you get these things called beached things, or BTs, which are like ghosts. And they sometimes, let me see if I can find one that's not a giant monster. They look like this, right? They've got these trails that tie them to kind of tar areas. And what they do in the game is they try to drag you into it, right? And so you have to be very quiet and sneak around and hold your breath. And then if you cut the little strand, you can shoot them until they die and they go away. But they kind of come at you in swarms. Or if you sneak up on them, you can cut the little thing that ties them to this realm and they disappear, right? So what I'm going to do is build a beach with a bunch of these beached things kind of around it. Not big monster ones, because there's big monster ones. Like this giant hand claw thing. There's a giant crab looking one. There's this big whale that kind of flies around. This guy, this Titan. So this part of the story is really cool. Like I really like this part. And you can fight these big guys. And here's another great picture of a beach thing. So I'm going to have all these, I'm going to try, I don't know how successful I'll be. I'm just going to get black minifigures, maybe 3 or 4, all black, and then have them like suspended on these like trails that are just on the beach. And the beach will be like gray rock and the water will be like black, shimmery stuff. And I'll have Sam in the middle of it with his giant backpack. So that's my plan. Hopefully I can figure that out by Brick Rodeo. So I'll have this. Oh, I'm stressing just thinking about it. I have to rebuild the motor on my Mega Spark City. Have to finish Q2 Stadium. Maybe do a smattering more of Microfighters and then do this collaborative build. Oh, and there was another collaborative build. A habitat, an 8x8 habitat of misheard song lyrics. So that was another collaborative build that people were talking about doing, which I think is fun. I don't have a misheard lyric yet. I tried thinking of them, but I can't think of one right now. But yeah, so lots going on. So hopefully I won't let a new game, like I want to play Contact. But I know that if I jump into that, it's going to take up a lot of time, and I don't know that I have a ton of time to give. But this also means that streaming wise, I've got some stuff I can do on stream. I can do more Microfighter stuff. I can build the beach thing, you know, turn the camera around and kind of build a mock outside a studio for a change. That might be what I do next. I'll crack open that kit and see what's in there and what I need to do to get a Death Stranding thing built. Because I think the Q2 Stadium is coming along to the point where I don't need to really... I think I just need to order parts now. Pretty much all of it is finished how I want it to be. And the monitor, I might just have to build it kind of in person and see how to make it fit. Especially if they're modular. The screen is going to have to kind of exist between 3 of the modulars. So I don't know how to and it kind of sits on other frames. So I don't know if I'm going to build them with the other modulars like as part of it, or if it's its own thing and then I attach it later. I think it's going to be the latter. So yeah, plenty of stuff to do. And still like organize log bulk and look at events. Try to get more events going for our group. I kind of feel bad that we missed out, or we're going to miss out on the Austin bridal extravaganza, because I think that would have been a good thing to do for the new support packages they're doing from the LAN, and get like some botanical sets and have people build a flower wall while they're at the wedding expo. So maybe next year we could do that. Somebody also suggested the Wildflower Center for doing something like that. The only problem with the Wildflower Center, and I can talk to my group about it, I don't think it sees all that many people. I think the bridal expo will probably see a lot more people. I think the Wildflower Center is pretty niche, and even like some of the kids programming stuff doesn't see a ton of people. And I think if we're going to be able to do stuff like this with Lego, then we're going to have to say, yeah, there's going to be 1,000, 1,500 people going through there, versus, yeah, we might see 50 kids. And they're already going to be doing classroom stuff. So it really depends. So in the last 5 minutes, anybody getting Lego clogs? They're technically clogs. They're not Crocs, but they are hideous, whatever they are. I told my family, if any of you buys this for me, even as a joke, I will never speak to you again. And I sent a link, and they immediately responded with, yep, it's already on order. You're going to get 5 copies of this. 5 pairs of this. I'm like, if any of these show up at my door, I'm going to set them on fire and leave them on your porch. And they joked about it, and they're like, yep, going to order you some. I was like, all right, stay warm, chump. There's going to be a fire on your porch. I would 100%. Nike put out... Okay, Nike? I think it's Nike. I don't know why I mispronounced it. I think at one point I heard the Greek goddess that it's named after was actually called Nike, not Nike. And so now I just say Nike, and I don't know if that's the case, but I cannot not say it, and it really frustrates me. Anyway, Nike put out those really rad kid shoes. I forget what they were called, but they're like the kind of the blue and dark blue and greenish, not the adult Adidas ones that are also very cool and I would get, but they put out these really rad shoes that were kids only. And all the adults are like, I would buy a pair of them. Why can't I buy a pair of those, you know? And so we don't get those, but hey, would you like some ugly ass clogs? And that said nobody ever. Yeah, I'd love some clogs. First of all, those things look like everybody who puts them on would trip. Just trip all over the place. They don't look comfortable. They look clumsy. They're ugly. But then at the same time, I think Crocs by themselves are ugly. And they seem to be a huge thing. Like, I know my son, who is like into huge Fortnite stuff, fanny pack, Crocs, like that was the thing for a while. He's kind of got out of it a little bit because he's got a nice new day job in the corporate government sector where he has to kind of dress nice. So I don't think he's dressing like that anymore. Halfway done shoveling. Glad you're not dead. It's already covered again. Yep. It's something I learned growing up. You never shovel until the snow's done. Do I have to do this times 2? Nope, just times 1. So the problem with building all this, a big as set as this is with all this internal stuff, is that with a smaller model, like the snow speeder, you can just highlight everything that's white and say turn it gray, and highlight everything that's gray and say turn it blue, right? So it looks like classic space. Real easy to do. Not a lot to it. The A-wing's kind of the same. With this, it's going to be like highlight everything that's gray, which is a lot of this internal stuff, and make it like a green color or whatever I'm doing with an AT-AT. And it's like, sorry, there's all these Technic pieces that can't be made into, and it's like, oh God. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of surface look for this. This is not gonna be highlight everything. It's gonna be like individual pieces, which will probably take a little more time, but I think it'll be worth it. And this may not be a project I get done this year. Like I think I could do this for Brick Rodeo 2027. Not a problem at all there. Which 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 5th one. So go down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one. And then it goes in there. Cool. Oh, I don't get started shoveling P2 deep. Yeah, that is true. Like you will end up hurting yourself. But take it easy, go slow. Don't give yourself a heart attack. But it is noon, so I'm gonna leave this. I still got a lot of work to do on this, but I'm glad that we got that Moya got done. Really happy about that. I'll start ordering parts. I know there's another set that I want to order parts for. The Assault Lander with Phasma. I think I got that finished, so I'm gonna make sure I get parts for that. So you guys take it easy. I hope everybody has a good week. This Thursday I might not be streaming. It really depends. We're doing our committee meeting for Lug Bulk on Thursday at 9 p.m. So it's kind of like right in the middle of it. But if I can get away from it, if I can pause this and then come back to it or something, we'll do that. But yeah, I hope you guys stay warm, stay safe. Please stay safe. It's crazy out there. But I will talk to you guys soon. Have fun building Lego, and we'll talk to you later.